I was up early. I bounced out of bed and made my way down the hall towards our living room at the front of the house. I slowly peered in to see if Santa had bothered to pay us a visit. With all that had been going on over the past few weeks, I was certain that he wouldn't. However, a euphoric sense of excitement and happiness washed over me as I took in the gorgeous Christmas tree and all of its glistening bounty below. I called out to my mother, "He came! He came! Can we open them? Mum, wake up!" A murmur, followed by the crash of a lamp falling off a bedside table, was shortly followed by the shuffling of slippered feet along our old hardwood floor. Hunched over, she entered the living room along with the stench of whiskey and cigarettes from the night before. My dad had up and left her for another woman not long ago, and for her to be up this early was nothing short of a Christmas miracle. She had slumped into a deep depression, brought on by the shock of my dad's sudden departure, and then compounded by the loneliness, worthlessness, and guilt she must have been feeling from neglecting me. Looking back now, that time of my life had really helped me become more independent. It made me stronger. I had to feed myself, bathe myself, and take myself off to school. Hell, no one else was going to do it for me. It was horrible to see her this way. However, the 7-year-old me couldn't contain my excitement, and I badgered her relentlessly by asking, "Can I open them? Can I? Can I?" Until she was able to get the words out through the pain of her splitting headache. "Yes, yes, hurry up," she said. "Open them." "Great," I shouted, and began to tear into the wrapping paper like a rabid dog tearing into the flesh of its freshly caught prey. A Nintendo 64, Game Boy Pocket, Goosebumps books, Lego. I had really hit the jackpot. I was so happy. I looked up at my mum and said, "Thanks, Mum. I love you." "Don't thank me," she said. "Thanks, Santa." I smiled. "Thanks, Santa." She smiled back. Then, without thinking, I said, "I wish Dad could be here." I shouldn't have said it, but I was all too caught up in the moment. My mother's face turned, her icy stare filling me with regret for having ruined the good mood. Damn, why did I have to say that? The awful and awkward silence was broken when she said in a cold, crackled whisper, "There's one more there. Aren't you going to open it?" I smiled an uncomfortable smile back at her. "Yes, of course," I replied, trying so hard to get that warm, excited feeling back that had filled the room just minutes ago. I dragged over the last box. It was heavy. I didn't tear into it like the previous few. I didn't have the same enthusiasm. Plus, I wanted to savor the moment. Who knows when I would be getting presents like this again? My mother stared intently at me as I peeled away the wrapping, opened the cardboard box, and peered at the contents within. I froze. I can still see the image so clearly in my mind to this day. And to this day, nothing has made me feel more sick to my stomach, more shattered, more incredibly disappointed and devastated. "What is it, Ryan?" she probed. "What's wrong? Isn't it what you wanted?" My father's head lifelessly stared at me, and I stared back into his eyes, his dead eyes. "It's exactly what I wanted," I replied, sobbing as I did so. "Good. Now dry your eyes," my mother croaked. "I want you to meet someone." Out of the shadows, a huge figure came into the room and put his hand on her shoulder. "This is Chris. He's going to be staying with us for a while. Now don't be rude. Say hello." I've never felt more alone and helpless than I did right at that moment. All I could do was say, "Hello." Let me tell you a tale of young Ben if I might. blissfully unaware he'd been hacked in the night. His passwords were stolen, his identity too. Don't think for a second this can't happen to you. His location was known, his browsing was tracked. These two things can be done without even being hacked. A virtual private network would have prevented his woes. Once installed, where you are, nobody knows. You could be in Europe or Asia with the click of a mouse, or your activity encrypted without leaving your house. NordVPN keeps you safe and secure for the lowest of prices. One account gives you protection across 6 devices. Protect your bank details and files with military-grade encryption. For 70% off a 3-year plan, click the link in the description. Don't take a chance. Don't end up like Ben. Get the best protection there is. Get NordVPN.